This is John's House, a daily place for real conversation about Frederick. From the decisions that affect your neighborhood to the events, nonprofits, restaurants, and local leaders that make this community move. Local, regional, national, and always connected to home. Come on in. John's House starts now.
Here we go. It is Friday. Welcome to the weekend. I got to turn this microphone down because I was hearing echoing, and I guess the little guys that were here before me had this microphone up pretty loud. Anyways, good to have you with us here in Studio 401. My name is John Hunt. You found your way to one of the shows that I do. I don't know. Seriously, it is John's House. We also do Frederick Sports coming your way at 4 o'clock. And I looked at my calendar because I actually still keep I keep a paper calendar. I have one of those old fashioned deals where, I've got to open it up every day. And I opened it up today and it said episode 50 for both shows. I can't believe that it's already 50 episodes of John's House today, and then 50 episodes this afternoon for Frederick Sports already. I mean, what started off as a drive-by, no, I did not have, a weapon. But I stopped in, I stuck my head in the door trying to figure out what this place was. And, then we're doing 2 podcasts. We're out promoting the Everything Frederick Live Network, shaking hands and kissing babies, doing events and sitting in front of a camera every morning, which I had never done in my life. I was always told, John, don't think about television. You have a face for radio. So just stay doing radio. But this is fun. I'm getting used to it. There's still things to learn, but 50 episodes. Thank you to everybody who's been involved in getting us to this point already. And then again, 50 more coming for this afternoon on Frederick Sports from Studio 401. Good morning. Frederick, of course, kicks off each and every Monday through Friday at 9. I come on at 10 to do this. Again, Frederick Sports at 4, and so many other podcasts all throughout the Everything Frederick Live Network. And if you're just checking out John's House, or you're just checking out one of the shows that I do, again, I highly recommend just looking inside the network and finding out what everybody else is doing. There are 15 podcasts running right now, and they range from everything from, finding out how to improve your mental health to if you get a tick bite, what to do if you end up with Lyme disease or alpha-gal, to tarot card readings live on the air. I mean, there's a little bit of everything right here on the network. Good morning to Tim, who's checking it out. He also does one of the podcasts here on the network. We're going to be visiting with him next week. But yeah, the growth of the network has just been unbelievable, and we love what we see here. If you'd like to be part of any of it, whether you'd like to become a sponsor and show your support for what we're doing here locally, again, it's all hyper local. It is not, we talk about some things that are national and regional, but those are things that affect people that live in Frederick. We try really hard to talk about those kind of issues when we're on the air. And then, of course, you could be part of one of the podcasts. You could be sitting in the chair to the left of me, or if there's 2 people, both sides. We've got spots for as many as 4 people to be on the air with me at the same time. So if you'd like to be part of the podcast, especially on my sports podcast, because high school sports are about to start. I mean, we are just, I know practice has already started. You talking about practice? Yes, I am talking about practice. And it has started for the high schoolers in all the fall sports. So if you're a coach and you want to get the word out, I can get you hooked up with what's going on in Frederick Sports at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, some things going on around again, it's rockthewave13@gmail.com. I almost forgot to tell you where to contact us to find out how to get involved with this or any of the podcasts, or even if you want to start your own podcast. We have spots available for you to do that, whether you want to do one a month, one a week. It'd be tough to do it daily, but you have to be fully prepared if you want to do that. We'd love to have you on board. All right. First year and transfer students began moving into Hood College yesterday, so expect extra traffic around the areas of the residence halls as move-ins continue through the weekend, and many welcome events and activities that are going on around the residence quad. International students were able to start moving in on Monday, August the 10th. And let's see here. Today, Frederick County invites the public to attend 2 informational open houses on the regulation of data center development. That's not a subject that we normally talk about here in John's house, but the data center development is important to the region. I'm just not well educated on the whole data center issue. This kind of started while I was out and about and spending most of my time on the road managing minor league baseball teams before I got back into broadcasting. So I'm catching up on that. I know they talk about it a lot on Good Morning Frederick and some of the other programs that we have. But again, it is a big issue in the region. And I know a lot of the elected officials are talking about what's going on with that. So the Frederick County is inviting the public to attend 2 informational open houses on the regulation of data center development. Sessions are designed so that you can meet directly with the department and agency officials to ask questions and learn about the steps the county has already taken. That's going to be Wednesday, September 2nd from 6 until 8 p.m. at the Claggett Center, 3035 Buckystown Pike in Adamstown, or Wednesday, September 9th from 6 to 8 at the Urbana Volunteer Fire Department Banquet Hall. That's 3602 Urbana Pike, and that is still in Frederick. So 3602 Urbana Pike, that's September 9th. Participating county agencies include the Office of the County Executive, Agriculture, Communications, Public Engagement, Emergency Management, Energy and Environment, Fire and Rescue, the Health Department, Public Works, Planning and Permitting, and the Water and Sewer and Utilities Group. They're all going to be there if you have questions on how the data center development affects where you live and what you do here in Frederick County. Learn more at www.frederickcountymd.gov/data centers. So you'll be able to get all the details right there. And I'm going to hit you with some Frederick County jobs because we do love, if you're looking for one, if I find them out there, I like to pass them on during John's house. So today, Frederick County jobs, and these jobs are at a different place than we normally get them from. It is at governmentjobs.com/careers/Frederick MD. There are jobs for assistant recreation coordinators within the county at $16.75 an hour. Let me see, building plan review supervisors at $85,000 to $145,000 a year. Again, you got to have the proper qualifications to do that. But again, if that's what your skill set holds, go for it. $145K a year all day long. $29 to $49 an hour if you're an electrical and plumbing inspector. If you are a communications specialist, they need you at the county libraries, and they're looking for you to be bilingual to help many different people who come in. $56 to $96K per year, depending on your abilities. And what else do we have in here? Correctional officers are going to have a correctional classification specialist hiring event on September 2nd. That's at the Frederick County Adult Detention Center. It includes the opportunity to take the physical exam and complete the written exam right there. So you can go in, you can fill out your application, you can take the exams all on Wednesday, September 2nd. Now they're asking that you pre-register. If you want to text them, you can pre-register by text. Apply to 240-931-7211. That's text apply to 240-931-7211. 7211. And you want more information, you can also apply online at www.frederickcosheriff.com. That's Frederick CO, short for county, sheriff.com /apply CO. Altogether, apply CO. So there you go. Some jobs and some things that you can do right here in the county. You don't have to travel to DC. You don't have to spend all your money on gas trying to commute each and every day. There are some great jobs right here in our region. We're going to take a really short break, a little earlier than I normally do, to correct an issue here in the studio. And I'm going to be right back in just a moment. I'm John Hunt, and this is John's House.
Frederick, if you're craving real Chicago-style flavor, Rosati's is bringing it. From their cheesy, loaded deep dish pizza to crispy tavern-style thin crust, every bite is packed with that classic Rosati's taste. And don't sleep on the steak and cheese sub. Hot, hearty, and seriously satisfying. Rosati's has been serving family recipes since 1964, and now you can get it right here in Frederick. Stop by 911 West 7th Street or order online at rosatispizza.com. Rosati's, keeping it real since 1964.
Sponsored by Fusion Car Wash, now with 2 locations in Frederick to serve you. One on Spectrum Drive near the FSK Mall, which is a full-service location, and TJ Drive with self-serve vacuums. Download the free Fusion Car Wash app and sign up for a monthly membership, and you can keep all your cars clean daily. FusionCarWash.com.
Sponsored by Intense Barbecue. Sponsored by Intense Barbecue. Family-owned barbecue food truck and catering company cooking in small batches to ensure that the food is the freshest it can be. Intense Barbecue can cater your events, and they do any kind of food. It doesn't have to be barbecue. Find them at sebbq.com and satisfy your meat tooth.
All right, we're back on a Friday, and there we go. The problem has been solved. Basically, all it was I could hear a lot more in my headphones than I normally could. We had a few students in here earlier, and the microphones were up. So not a big, huge deal, probably something you didn't even notice, and not to worry about anything going on here in the studio. It is all solved and all good to go. Today in history, there were a couple of pretty important things that happened. And I don't always do a today in history during the show, but there were 2 very big events that happened today in history. In 1945, now put your thinking cap on and see if you can figure out, but it was a very important day because VJ Day. No, that's not the day they started MTV and put disc jockeys on the television. VJ Day was the day Japan surrendered to the Allies, ending World War II. So yeah, pretty big day in history. VJ Day is what it's called. So if you're talking around the water cooler with your friends today, you'll fully understand what they're talking about. Again, it is not the day they started MTV. And in 1935, especially if you're older, and hopefully this will still be around if you're younger, but in 1935, FDR signed the Social Security Act, establishing a permanent old age pension system through employer and employee contributions. So this was the first day that they started things in motion, that they got a bill signed for the Social Security Act. So think about before 1935, when you retired, you had to figure out your way. You pretty much had to live with your family because then your kids were taking care of you. It wasn't a situation where back in those days, you would put your elderly family in an old folks home or something like that. You took care of them. Everybody took care of everybody else back in those days. However, in 1935, again, the Social Security Act. Now, not that, the $1,500 a month, or depending on how old you are when you decide to retire, that you're getting in Social Security is going to cover all your bills, but it helps out a little bit. And hopefully you were able to plan in advance. But things happen in life, family emergencies. Sometimes the grandparent has to take care of the grandkids. and that eats into, the money that maybe they saved for their own retirement. Stuff happens. So again, it is good that the Social Security still exists for those of us who are getting up there in years. So again, 1945 VJ Day and 1935 FDR signed the Social Security Act, establishing that pension system for those people who are getting up there in years. All right, let's see what we have not covered here on the show yet today. There's a lot of little things that I'm going to bring back up that we talked about in the show earlier. First off, I do want to remind you that, here it is, Maryland's tax-free week is still going on. However, it's going to end tomorrow. So if you are out and about and you're buying school supplies, tax-free week started on Sunday, runs through tomorrow. You can purchase school supplies, backpacks, and individual articles of clothing or shoes costing under $100 each, no matter how many items you buy at once. Now, electronics are not included, so I'm not sure if the students still use those trigonometry calculators, algebra calculators anymore. Those, unfortunately, and laptops, they're not included in the state tax exemption. Online purchases are exempt, but only, now of course, everybody would prefer that you use local businesses. That's important, okay? However, here's the thing. Online purchases, you can make them if you think, okay, I'm going to go to Amazon, it's going to be cheaper, or I'm going to go to Walmart.com or whatever. You've got to order and receive the stuff by the end of the day tomorrow. So you're definitely going to have to use, a higher rate for shipping unless you're able to get it locally and just have it delivered to you. But it has to be ordered and delivered to your house by the end of the night tomorrow, by midnight tomorrow night, to count for that tax exemption. Again, that's 6% off whatever you're buying. And a lot of the stores, especially here locally, will do school time sales to help you out. So you might get 10, 15, 20% off your items and then get the 6% tax off. And anytime you don't have to pay taxes, that's also a good thing. Taxes are important to a point. We do need to have roads and services for the people who need them. However, there are some limitations, and you save yourself a couple of bucks at this time of year. So again, Maryland's tax-free week, which always happens right before school, is about to end. Rocky Ridge Volunteer Fire Department Carnival also is going on through Sunday. It opens at 5 o'clock each night. All right. There were some other jobs that we were going to talk about, and two big things going on next week. Again, we don't have a ton for today's show. Good news is there hasn't been a lot of bad news around the region when it comes to people getting hurt or robbed, or, and we don't do a lot of that on this show anyways. We do it when it, affects a lot of people, but we'll leave that to the, those newscasts that believe if it bleeds, it leads, which is what we were taught when we were coming up in radio, right? That's exactly right. And that's the truth. In any terrestrial radio, you're going to hear the story about somebody that got murdered or killed, raped, or their house got broken into, their business got destroyed. Those are going to be the first things you hear in just about every newscast on terrestrial radio, terrestrial television. But here at Studio 401 and the Everything Frederick Live network, we have so many other things to talk about. So again, all different kinds of podcasts. Look them all up. You can go on YouTube. Even if you missed the original, go on YouTube. You can watch old episodes to any of the 15 podcasts that come your way. Again, the Everything Frederick Live Network. We are all teaming up. We're kind of kind of building our own Justice League, if you will, of podcasts and shows, because that's how strong it's getting. So many people are talking about it. When I'm out visiting new clients, they're like, oh, yeah, I heard of that show. Or, oh, yeah, my friend does that show. Or, yeah, I watched Danny pass out the money. Danny and AJ are out hiding the money. I see that all the time. I mean, that's the stuff I'm hearing on the street when I'm going out and getting hooked up with new sponsors. And sponsors are loving it. I mean, you've seen the ads for Hot Fired Arts and Rossetti's Pizza. They're right next to each other, well, across the parking lot from each other on 7th Street. Our friend Jerry Donald, he'll be back in the studio next week. He's going to record his ad and he'll be visiting the show a few times. Jerry Donald for Delegate, also a new sponsor. I know Danny has a bunch of new sponsors. I mean, it's growing like crazy. Not just the podcast, but the people who realize the power of all of the different podcasts that we have on the Everything Frederick Live Network. So look them all up, check them all out, and find the ones you like the best, and then tell them, like and subscribe to all of the podcasts here on the Everything Frederick Live Network. Now, there's some big events going on next week. The Frederick County Division of Aging and Independence has free health screenings and shows you community resources at a free health fair. That's next Monday, August 17th, from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the Newmarket Grange at 362, or Newmarket Grange number 362 at 14 South Alley. Now, services will include blood pressure and cognitive health screenings, A1C testing for the first 40 participants, plus vision and hearing screenings at the Lions Club mobile unit. Residents can get information on applying for programs including Meals on Wheels, financial assistance through Medicare, along with information on energy assistance, home repairs, services for veterans and families and people with disabilities. So a lot of different ways they're going to help you out there in the Frederick County Division of Aging and Independent next Monday. And a free lunch and a bag of groceries is even available if you need some help there to the first 25 participants. So get there early. If you've had trouble, maybe your insurance isn't covering everything you need. Maybe you're uninsured. We all know you shouldn't be, but sometimes finances force that. Whatever it is you need, especially, if you're aging, they're going to be able to help you out. The county's Move Mobile, a former ambulance equipped with technology for screenings and applications, will also be at the event. And this time of year is usually slow for blood donations. So if you're in need of blood, you need to know that it's going to be right here locally, that it's going to be easy to find. And there are two different places that you can donate blood. And these donations will stay in the Frederick healthcare system right here in our region, unless there's some kind of crazy emergency and we have a little extra. It may go to Montgomery County, or it may go to Howard County, or somewhere else around the region, Washington County. But the Frederick Health Blood Donor Center at 1 Frederick Health Way, suite number 100, they will have blood donations every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. They are closed on Saturday and Sunday, so plan ahead, and you can call them at 240-566-3700. That's 240-566-3700. I highly recommend scheduling an appointment. Sometimes they can accept walk-ins, but it depends on daily availability. If you want to make sure you're able to get in, give your blood, get your cookie, and get back in the car and go back to work, after you take a little rest, I highly recommend scheduling in advance. And there's also blood donations at the American Red Cross office, 141 Thomas Johnson Drive, suite number 120. And their phone number is 1-800-RED-CROSS, 1-800-RED-CROSS. And let's see here. Oh, don't forget. Yeah, Tim just reminded me, of course, their podcast, Bunk Room Chats, every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, Firefighter Mental Health Podcast. And that's important. My dad was a fireman when I was growing up, and I can tell you that there are issues that firefighters have to go through. It definitely affects your mental health, being under that much pressure. If you're a police officer, if you're in the fire department, if you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're in the emergency room. I mean, those are jobs that are high stress jobs. And if you want to learn the details, you can always check them out right here on the Everything Frederick Live Network. Tell them that we sent you over here from John's house. All right. I'm looking back through the list one more time, and I think we've covered most everything today. I told you it wasn't going to be a super long show, but we do want to remind you two events that are going on next week. The 35th anniversary of Point Break, the movie, almost sold out. There are only 3 tickets, and they're all singles left at Warehouse Cinemas. It's only $8 on Wednesdays, too, for the next 2 weeks. They are about to end that summer $8 special on Wednesdays. Again, the next 2 Wednesdays, and that's it. So you can get your tickets for $8. You can get all your food, $8. Even those big crabby pizzas and things like that, only $8. Anything $8 or less, and the tickets for the movies are $8 or less. From what I saw last night, there are only 3 individual tickets left in the main sitting area, and there are 3 handicap seats in the back row, handicap accessible seats still available. So a total of 6 tickets, and only 3 of them are individual spots. You won't be able to sit next to somebody that you're going with. So kind of plan ahead for that. Or, if you're single and you want to come out and join us, we'd love to have you. We're going to have giveaways, tons of prizes. If you dress in beach attire, again, whatever you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable, you're a comfortable guy and you want to wear a banana hammock there, a Speedo kind of thing, we're not going to turn you away. We might laugh at you, but we're not going to turn you away. No matter what it is you're comfortable doing. If you come in beach attire, we are going to hook you up with a Maryland lottery scratch-off. So you could end up winning big bucks there. We're going to have some T-shirts to throw into the audience and some other goodies. And one of the grand prizes is a $25 food gift card for right there in the theater. So your entire night could be covered. You might not even have to worry about your food. We're going to give that away that evening as well. And tickets to give away, pretty simple. Just stay with us, and we're going to keep giving you the details through next week. That's going to be next Wednesday. Next Tuesday is Frederick Feud, the round 2 edition at the Rockwell Brewery, sponsored by your friends at Middletown Valley Bank and Ken's Transmissions, Total Car Care at kenstrans.com. And wow, we have just kind of whipped through the show. That's coming your way Tuesday, by the way, next Tuesday. So Tuesday and Wednesday, back-to-back nights. I know school's starting. There's a lot going on next week, but we have those 2 big events back-to-back nights, Tuesday and Wednesday. We'd love to see everybody come out there. Any of our fellow podcasters, you guys are welcome to join us. We'll introduce you to the crowd, let them know who you are, and it's just going to be a fun night. Some trivia. We're going to do that at both Point Break and Frederick Feud. And by the way, in Frederick Feud, SOAR was the winners of the first round. The second round winner will face SOAR and get $1,000 if they can win the championship. That is going to be a really big night. So August 18th, next Tuesday, 5 till 8 at Rockwell Brewery. Tickets are on sale in advance for $25. And again, the sponsors helping out the local charities. We appreciate Ken's Automotive and Transmissions and Middletown Valley Bank for jumping on board with us. There you go. I threw a lot at you in a short period of time on a Friday. Make sure you get out and have a good weekend. Weather should be decent. It's not going to be as oppressively hot. There may be some rain mixed in, but the Keys are playing in town. There's a lot of events going on around the region. Take advantage of them all and make sure that you tell your friends, like and subscribe, tell your friends about the Everything Frederick Live Network and so many different choices of what you could be watching. Remember, you are what you watch and you listen to. My name is John Hunt, and thanks for being part of episode number 50. This has been John's House.
Thanks for stopping by John's House. Make sure you share, like, and comment because this conversation is better when Frederick is part of it. Tune in every weekday for more local stories, real issues, community voices, and the people helping shape Frederick. We'll see you next time.
This episode is a proud production of the Everything Frederick Live Podcast Network. Your home for Frederick's best podcasts, streaming daily on YouTube.